Hello and welcome to the Joy of Yoga. I'm Joy Scola. Today we're going to be breaking down Vinyasa. In my previous video I talked about Hatha a little bit more in depth, and the one before that I broke down the four most widely practiced forms of yoga: Hatha, Vinyasa, Yin, and Restorative. So today we're going to really talk about Vinyasa. Now, Vinyasa is a newer form of yoga that has just really stemmed from Hatha. Pretty much all of yoga forms have stemmed from Hatha, and Vinyasa, nyasa is to place, and V translates in a special way. So you're really not supposed to just be throwing your body around, moving from one pose to the next. It's really about moving with intention. And unfortunately, a lot of Vinyasa classes or teachers will just be speaking so fast that you see all those people, they're just kind of like, whoa, like momentum, throwing their bodies into each pose with each breath. And really it's supposed to be with the breath, your breath, not with your pose. So as you inhale, you're moving to one pose. On your exhale, you're moving to another pose. Inhale, another pose. Exhale, another pose. And again, with intention. So it's really a lot about the transition from one pose to the next. How do you move from one pose to the next, and how focused or intentional can you be about that? So we have a very fitness and fast-paced kind of centric society here, especially in the States. And again, that will reflect in most of the Vinyasa classes you go to. There have been a lot of Vinyasa classes where I've just been like, nope, I either just started doing my own thing or have legitimately walked out of. And I've even actually stopped a teacher one time and was like, hey, look around. Do you see how I've been doing yoga for 10 years. I can't even keep up with you. She was just like, up dog, down dog, da 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 da. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like you weren't even having time to breathe. People were just sitting on their mat. It was just so awful. But so I guess you could probably tell Vinyasa is not my most favorite form of yoga to practice, though I do think it has its time and place. I believe that Vinyasa is really great if you're looking to get more of a cardio style yoga form workout in or movement in, and it is like a breathing meditation in that, again, it's supposed to be very intentional, very focused, and very fluid with your breath. So it's not about going from pose to pose to pose. It's about being with yourself, with your breath, moving your body through that in a very fluid, intentional way. I know I keep saying that, but yes, that is how it's supposed to be. So I think that Vinyasa is much better geared towards advanced and intermediate yogis. It will be really crazy if you're a very beginner yoga practitioner and you've never tried yoga, or you've only been to a couple of classes, you don't know the names of poses really well, you might feel very overwhelmed stepping into a Vinyasa class. So that is why I highly recommend beginners to go to a Hatha style, because Hatha, you will be holding the poses for longer. They will talk more about the alignment, and you'll be able to really feel it in your body and really start to associate the names with the poses and learn them over time. It's not going to be right away, but you will be able to get to the point where then you feel confident stepping into a Vinyasa class, because whereas Hatha, they will be more likely to demonstrate what you're doing. Vinyasa, the teacher's more likely to just be walking around, maybe occasionally demonstrating something, but more so walking around, more so giving hands-on adjustments and things like that, which of course you have your own body authority and autonomy, and so have every reason to say, no, thank you, I don't want any adjustments right now, especially if you're injured or you have traumas or just you don't feel like being touched, And unfortunately, I would be, at least want to tell you, it's important to understand that not every teacher is the best at giving adjustments, and a lot of injuries do come from teachers pushing too far, too deep, too fast, and not really understanding how to listen to the body that they're working with and feeling into that body's limitations. So just be very mindful and know that you have to live in your body at the end of the day, not the teacher, not anyone around you, and only do whatever feels good for you. And if anybody judges you for that, or if the teacher gets upset, walk out, never return. Find a different teacher, because they should be there for you, you're not there for them. So anyways, back to Vinyasa. Vinyasa really is a great way to build energy and stamina. And if you're more of a Kapha body or energy, which means maybe you're just thicker boned, it's hard for your muscles to kind of show, even though you might have muscles, they're not super defined. Maybe it's hard for you to get motivated, hard for you to get moving, especially in the mornings and stuff. You might be more of a Kapha energy, K-A-P-H-A, in which case, once you do learn, all the poses and the understanding of alignment and stuff, Vinyasa is a great form for you to practice, because it will help kind of build those fires in your Kapha body and help you feel motivated and energized and get your energy moving, so then that can carry on throughout your day. Whereas Hatha is, better for, say, the Pitta and the Vata types, because we should not be practicing what we're like. So if we're very fiery and fast already, we need to be practicing something cooling and calming to help balance us out, because we don't want to be overstimulated. And just like with Kapha, it's not the best idea for you to just be practicing yin and restorative all the time, even though you might want to, because it's nice and slow and deep and relaxing. You really want to, get those energy going, so that way that can translate into your life. So I do love Vinyasa, and it has its time and place, and no two Vinyasa classes are ever the same. So there could be Vinyasa classes based on what's called a ladder flow or sequence. So just kind of like the sun salutations has a certain set of poses. There's sun salutation A, and then there's sun salutation B and sun salutation C. So A is like 4 types of poses, and then B adds on a pose to that, 1 or 2 poses to that. And then you practice that for your few rounds. And then C adds on even a couple more poses. So you kept those first same poses in A, and then you just added more and added more. So they're all the same, but again, just kind of adding new ones that you continue to practice through, and so you start to remember it. And in those ladder style flows, again, the teacher might just not even tell you what to do at a certain point. They'll go, okay, now that we've done this a few times, practice that sequence on your own, and they just start walking around or watching or giving hands-on adjustments or something. And so it's kind of up to you to remember what it is you have done and go through the sequence yourself, however many times. They said 1 or 3 times, and then you continue to build from there. So again, they'll have you run through it, maybe 3 to 5 times, and then let you go on your own for 3 to 5 times, and then you guys come back together again, being guided, and then released. And then there would also be what's called like a peak pose style class. So say flying pigeon, where you're balancing one knee or one shin across both of your elbows, and then your other leg is kind of lifting back and up. That will be the peak pose of the class. So everything that you practice will help gear and get your body ready to get into that pose, and then kind of wind down from that pose into Savasana. So there is so many different styles of types of classes, of Vinyasa classes, even more like mandala classes, where you're kind of circling, like you're facing forward, you're facing sideways, you're facing back, sideways, forward, sideways, back. And again, the teacher might not be visible at all times, and also might not instruct the whole time. So that is why I think Vinyasa is much better suited for an intermediate or advanced, someone who knows their body, who has a good understanding of pranayama and how breath moves in their body, and how to apply the poses to their breath versus their breath to the poses. So it does take a lot of knowledge and already a good understanding of the practice in order to take a vinyasa class. Now you might see a beginner vinyasa somewhere on a class schedule. It's pretty rare though, and again, that just might be more hatha based, where you're holding the poses for longer, and maybe it's more of like a hatha flow, where it's combining hatha with vinyasa. So maybe a little bit, you're kind of flowing from one breath to the next, and then let's hold this for a few breaths, and then let's flow a little bit again, and then let's hold this. So that's something that I actually like to practice a lot, is combining hatha with vinyasa. Just more so like in the morning or the afternoon when I'm trying to build a little bit more energy, or my body's craving a little bit more movement. So same with vinyasa, I think that it's best to practice in the morning or in the afternoon when you're really needing to work and move your body, and then practicing more of a hatha yin, or restorative in the evening to help wind that energy down, which will help you sleep better and sleep longer and stuff like that. So yeah, just as Vinyasa is a much faster paced class or style of yoga, so is this video. Let me know if you like Vinyasa, what you like about it, or if you're curious about trying Vinyasa, if you have any questions, I'm completely here for you. And also, if you'd like to train with me, if you're already an instructor and you just want to learn how to sequence classes for, you know, whenever you teach, or even for yourself, or if you're someone that isn't a teacher but wants to deepen their practice and have a better understanding of how to create your own personal classes for yourself at home based on your needs and whatever time restraints you have, I am starting an online class, workshop series, course, whatever you want to call it, that will be starting January 4th. It will be 8 weeks long, where we just meet twice a week for 2 hours out of those 2 days. And we will break down everything you need to know in order to feel confident in yourself to build either your own flows or flows for your classes. Let me know if you're interested in that. This first iteration, this first run of the program will be done live with me, and we'll have limited availability, and will actually be discounted since it's the very first one. So the price will go up after this first program ends, and then the program starts running on its own. So let me know if you have any comments or questions about that as well. I'm totally here for you. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.